Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Florida.
On a Saturday in Miami, there's plenty to do. You know that. Marlins Park is filling up. Marlins and Mets on a Saturday night. Second game of a three-game series. Last night, too much R.A. Dickey and not enough runs as the Fish were shut out. Josh Johnson gets the ball. Jeremy Hefner going for the Mets. And the Marlins and Jose Reyes will try to even the score tonight. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. I think the Marlins were relieved when they looked at the lineup card in the clubhouse and saw that R.A. Dickey wasn't going to go back-to-back nights. Last night was a very frustrating night for a hitter.
Which has happened in the past with knuckleball pitchers. But I think you look at the normalcy of a regular pitcher. Jeremy Hefner has all four pitches, but he doesn't have a knuckleball, so that's good news.
And the Marlins have Josh Johnson. Now, J.J. got knocked around against the Dodgers, but against the Mets, in his career, he's been terrific.
He really has. He's on a stretch right now, Rich, where he's had some tough luck. JJ's lost his last four starts, but he hasn't gotten a lot of support in those games. His offense has given him just 5 runs. He beat the Mets earlier this year in his career, 8-2 lifetime against New York with a 2.70 ERA. So he's always pitched well against the Metropolitans. He gets to see them tonight. And we hope we see a Josh Johnson a little bit different than the JJ we saw in Los Angeles.
R.A. Dickey certainly worked quickly last night. Now, Jeremy Hefner has the reputation of working quickly and of throwing strikes.
Yeah, not many of the Marlins have seen him. He pitched 1 inning out of the bullpen against the Fish earlier this year, but he's made 8 starts. He's coming off his best ever outing against Houston. He went 8 innings, gave up 5 hits and just 1 run. So JJ against a guy that most of the hitters have not seen, Jeremy Hefner.
So a lot planned here tonight. Marlins and Mets, glad you're with us as the Fish get set to take on New York. Opening day 2013. What's that all about? Well, stick around and you will find out. On a night where we've got Cliff Floyd all over Marlins Park. Mets and the Marlins are ready to go in Game 2. Let's head out to center field. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Gentlemen.
Rich, thank you. Good evening again, everybody. You know, the unfortunate thing about this season is a lot of times we're looking ahead to next year. What are these guys going to do next year? That's the unfortunate part of 2012. You only hope it's a terrific building block when it's all said and done. So with that in mind, let's take a look ahead, Niner, at a couple of potential lineups that you have put together, okay?
That I put together, yes. Well, like you said, when you're at September 1st and out of the race, you look forward to next year, and you look at what the Marlins have right now as far as core players, and this is a lineup I kind of threw together. You know, Logan Morrison's going to have surgery in about 4 days now. Hopefully he's back strong next year. Justin Ruggiano, hopefully he finishes out this year and comes back looking for a spot next year. Greg Dobbs is basically the default third baseman right now, although I like him better off the bench. I think he's more valuable to this team off the bench. Donovan Solano possibly has earned himself a spot as a possible starting second baseman, and we'll probably see a little bit more of a platoon with Brantley and Buck next year at catching position.
All right, so that's the team the Marlins have now. Probably not man for man what they will have next year, and this is one you tweaked a little bit.
Tweaked a little bit. I went over the free agent list, which is not a real strong free agent class coming into 2013. David Wright, I say possible free agent because the Mets do have an option that I think they will probably pick up. Okay. And you look at some of the other guys that might be available. There's Josh Hamilton, as center fielder from the Texas Rangers, is available. That's a lofty goal. Shane Victorino, I played with him. Yep. I love him as a center fielder, as a teammate. Maybe able to get him for a couple-year deal. Emilio Bonifacio can play either center field or second base. So some tweaking to do, something to look forward to, and hopefully the Marlins will figure it out.
I see you spent some money with your second lineup there.
Well, you know, it's not my money, and I was just throwing it out there. So.
And you're going to throw it because you're going to get David Wright. And you're right. The Mets have the option on him, right?
Mets have the option,
they're picking
and
him up.
There's no way I don't think he'll walk.
But I did see Mr. Laurie just saying hello to him around the batting cage today. Touch base and say hi. All right, everybody. We've got a ball game coming up. Cliff's going to join Rich and Tommy. He'll be roving around for the call of Game 2 of this series. See if the Marlins can tie it all up. Set up a rubber game tomorrow. Josh Johnson go after his 8th win when we return on our new logoed Fox Sports Florida.
Marlins ready to go. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. We are joined tonight by Cliff Floyd, who played for both of these teams. Cliff, you're a few years removed from your playing career. When you go back down now, in your field level, is the game speed up on you? Is it faster than it was when you were playing?
It looks like that way. I'll tell you, fellas, I mean, down here is a different perspective, no doubt. In the booth, it's totally slow. You feel like you can hit every pitch thrown. But when you're on field level, a little bit different. So I'm going to be around the field the whole day. You know, as JJ throws his first pitch, I'm going to be in the third base camera well. I'll move over to the first base side, and then down the line. And then, of course, as we mentioned in pregame, I will visit the Cleveland at some point.
Outstanding. There's a chopper to third. Dobbs has it, fires over to first in time, and Josh Johnson gets Ruben Tejada after throwing that pinch-a-penny first pitch. Here come the Mets. You saw Tejada. Daniel Murphy, the pride of Jacksonville, up next. David Wright, Ike Davis, Lucas Duda's in left. Mike Baxter's in right field. Andres Torres in center. Josh Tolley will do the catching. And Jeremy Hefner gets the start. He hits ninth. And here is Murphy, who was 1 for 4 last night. He cracks a ground ball out towards Solano. Just like that, Josh Johnson has 2 ground ball outs here in the first. And here's the Marlins defensively tonight.
Well, you like that. A couple of quick outs, a couple of ground balls. Peterson, Ruggiano, Stanton. Our Cleveland Clinic Florida defense. Dobbs, Reyes, Solano, and Lee. And John Buck is behind the plate. So everything the same except for the catching spot. And JB back there handling. Josh Johnson trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. But during that streak, he has pitched pretty well for the most part.
And he misses down low to right.
You know, Tommy, you talk about that 4-game losing streak for JJ. He talked about his command not being what he wants to be, and that's good to see. As you say, first 2 quick outs, throwing the pitches where he wants. That's going to be a key from him throughout the rest of the season. Just getting back into a good groove so he can finish strong and head into the offseason feeling good about himself.
And guys, Randy St. Clair, in talking about his start against the Dodgers, said he got in trouble without fastball location and sliders that didn't break and that he left out over the plate. He would like to see Josh throw a few more curveballs, even to left-handed hitters, just to get him off that plane of the slider.
He's going to have to do that to the next batter, Ike Davis, for sure. We saw what he did to that hanging curveball last night.
That's a pretty good pitch right there. Jerry Meals is behind home plate. And the count now 2-2. See pitch number 4 just off. Here's the 2-2. Wright fouls it in and out of the glove of John Buck. David Wright, without a lot of protection around him, is having a terrific year. 37 doubles to go with the 17 homers. His on base percentage over 400. And he takes outside, and he's also second in the league in walks. He's walked 74 times.
And I think, Rich, the impressive thing, we talked about it last night with David Wright, he's done a lot of this damage without a whole lot of protection this year. Good fastball.
Wright strikes out. JJ goes 1, 2, 3. And we're underway in Miami. Miami looking to even this series at a game apiece. Brian Peterson will lead it off. Justin Ruggiano in center field. Jose Reyes in the 3 spot. Carlos Lee cleanup. Giancarlo Stanton hitting 5th. Greg Dobbs slotted behind Stanton. Donovan Solano had his 12-game hit streak snapped last night. John Buck gets his first start of the series. And Josh Johnson hits 9th.
26-year-old right-hander who most are unfamiliar with, Jeremy Hefner. The scouting report tells you he's not real overpowering, but works quickly and likes to stay in the strike zone.
He's had an interesting path to get to the big leagues. He's slipped through a few organizations. Hit hard. Davis knocks it down and flips to Hefner. Boy, Peterson hit it right on the button.
As long as we're talking about Jeremy Hefner, let's go to the scouting report brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. He is a control pitcher. Has average stuff out of Oral Roberts University, but Rich, as you said, kind of an interesting path getting to the major leagues, and this is his first entree this year. He worked out of the bullpen, now making his 9th start.
Ruggiano had 2 hits last night, and believe me, on a night where hits and runs were almost impossible to come by against R.A. Dickey, that was an accomplishment. Ruggiano had a pair of singles. Miami was shut out on just 5 hits, and these were the balls that Ruggiano hit against Dickey. Sends that one fouling out of play.
You know, when you're feeling good, fellas, it doesn't matter who pitches. You know, when you're up there feeling good, you can float anything you want to float up there. And R.A. Dickey has been tremendous this year, but Ruggiano didn't matter to him. Been having that type of year.
Wright backing up, sets himself, and makes a nice play across the diamond. Mets defensively tonight.
And it is brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. There's Lucas Duda, Torres, and Baxter. In the outfield, Wright, Tejada, Murphy, and Davis. Same defense we saw last night. Josh Thole. I don't want to say you're relaxed ever as a catcher, but a little easier assignment handling Hefner than handling the knuckleball.
Here's Jose Reyes now. Ozzie Guillen talking about Jose Reyes earlier in the week, saying that Reyes has been the same player from day one. He's played hard. He had a little more success in the second half in terms of, in Ozzie's mind, line drives getting in, ground balls sneaking through. He rolls it to first. Ike Davis picks it up. That's an 8-pitch inning. Scoreless into the second. In slow motion. Brought to you by H.H. Gregg. Hello. Welcome to the show.
Hey, I like the difference, Rich. In the first inning in Los Angeles, J.J. threw 45 pitches. First inning tonight, he threw 10.
And his breaking ball misses to Ike Davis. Lucas Duda, Mike Baxter follows. Ike Davis drove in all the runs last night. In a 3-0 Mets win, he had a 2-run homer and a sacrifice fly. J.J. comes in with a fastball at 94 miles an hour, and it misses. It's 2-0.
You know, Ike Davis, you look at him, and he's made a ton of adjustments this season. He struggled early. I know the average is not what he wants it to be, but the power numbers, as Jeff Conine alluded to early in pregame, has been there for him. And I think you start to see him start to feel good about himself as he gets through a second, full season, because last year he was hurt throughout the whole season. So it's good to see him back in a groove, one of the young power hitters of the game.
At 25 homers is a career high, and he takes a strike. JJ's throwing 95 right now. This is as hard as we've seen JJ throw in maybe a month.
Yeah, that fastball that he struck David Wright out on was 95 miles an hour.
And I see every bit of it down here. It looks hard.
But he misses away, and Ike Davis draws a leadoff walk. And that brings up Lucas Duda. What else do you see down there, Mr. Floyd?
Well, the fellas are just, they seem a little relaxed. They seem like, they're into the game. The guys, saying what's up to me. The fans were excited to see me walking down the stairs, on my new gig, down here on the sidelines. But other than that, it's just fast baseball, fast pace. You don't think about it when you're up there in the booth, but, this is a pace that you don't, you're not accustomed to. Once you leave the game, you forget how hard it is to hit these 95-mile-an-hour fastballs, these sliders in the dirt and things like that.
Cliff, we're just happy you found your way down there.
I was lost for a minute, fellas. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, no, we saw the messages.
Yeah, I was lost.
But now you're found.
Yeah, I'm good.
And you're with us. Lucas Duda is as well. The big power-hitting outfielder sends it to center field. Ruggiano is over, and he's there, and he makes the catch. A family Sunday, that's what tomorrow is. Mets, Marlins wrap up the series at 1:10. You can take a picture with a Marlins player pregame in Snapshot Sunday. And kids will get a John Buck pillowcase, courtesy of Subway, and can run the bases after the game in the Diamond Dash. Go to Marlins.com for tickets today. A John Buck pillowcase. Baxter. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike. Mike Baxter getting his first 2 home runs coming into this series. His first career leadoff homer came a couple days ago against the Phillies. And he pulls one in the air to right. Stanton makes the catch.
Sometimes a pitch prior to the pitch a hitter hits sets it up. And J.J. threw that nice curveball that you had talked to Randy St. Clair about, that he wanted to see him throw more to left-handers. Dropped it in nicely for strike 1, and then tied up Baxter a little bit with a good fastball.
Hud, to add to that, the ball is coming out of J.J. hand a little bit different than we've seen the last 4 starts. So where his fastball is coming out with some life to it. You talk about that curveball. And it sets everything up, but when he's sitting in the spot as he is right now, where he wants to throw the baseball, everything moves faster for him. He can get into a good groove, and that's JJ's MO. When he's effective, he's doing those type of things. His fastball is in and out the strike zone better than any pitcher in baseball when he's on.
There's the curveball at 80 miles an hour for a strike.
And now he'd love to retire Andres Torres.
Yeah, he would.
Torres is 5 for 5 with 3 doubles and a home run against JJ. Unbelievable.
It's amazing that these type of stats from these guys, I guess they just try to put the ball in play, and they become gnats, pests.
Every pitcher seems to have one of those guys. Solano in foul territory.
Get the ball for JJ.
Mets are done in the second. Sports Florida is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer for great deals today. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Papa John's. Right now at Papa John's, get any large pizza, even specialties, for only $12. And by Nissan, get to Nissan for the biggest savings under the sun at Nissan's Summer Saving Days. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Carlos Lee facing Jeremy Hefner with Giancarlo Stanton and Greg Dobbs coming up. Coventry Healthcare second inning. Hefner a 1-2-3 first. All 3 outs were ground ball outs. Lee,
these are those at bats, Rich, for guys that haven't seen Hefner. And I mentioned he pitched 1 inning out of the bullpen against the Marlins on August 8th. But guys are kind of feeling their way, seeing what he has, what his fastball does. Will he double up on his slider? Does he use the changeup?
all right, Cliff Floyd, say you are hitting 6th in Miami's lineup now, and you have kind of the same view you would as a hitter. What have you seen from Hefner, and what would you be looking for when you came to the plate?
Well, I think the one thing I've seen is he's keeping the ball down. And when you talk about being a control pitcher, that's what you're looking for. Can he keep the ball down in the zone? Is he going to be a guy that, you sort of going to feel his way through the first couple innings? We've seen that already. But I've also seen the guys, after the first inning, they've actually talked about, what Hefner is featuring tonight.
Carlos Lee bounces to short, and here comes Giancarlo Stanton. Now, Cliff, this is the time where you want to make sure that you are in a position where you can get out of the way. Because John Tuitu, our lead cameraman down there, who's in front of you, wave to Cliff, John. John Tuitu is the guy that takes the brunt of the line drives. So.
Right. Well, I was told that already, and I told that with Carlos Lee. Well, that was the bat right there.
Wow, right over the head of Greg Dobbs.
Yeah.
No, that's sir.
See, the head of mine is already too big. I don't need any more lumps up here.
That's a scary moment for Dobbs. As an on-deck hitter, you're, especially with a right-handed hitter up from that on-deck circle, you're not that worried about balls coming your way.
Well, you're definitely not, and especially on deck, you're definitely not worried about anything, from a ball perspective. But I guess from a bat, you should keep your eye open with the amount of bats seeing flying this season. A lot of guys losing their bats this year than I've seen in past years.
Stanton swings through a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, and the count's 1-2.
I never lost. I never would swing and I swung hard. I never lost my bat when I swung, though.
Wow, he just challenged Giancarlo with 92 and 93-mile-an-hour fastballs up in the zone.
I've been watching Giancarlo. As good as he's been, hitting these bombs, if you elevate the fastball a little bit, he's been susceptible to swinging at that, and that's one thing. He probably knows, but once he sets his sights down a little bit, he won't swing at those pitches, and he'll get back into that groove where he's hitting the ball 500 feet.
Here's Dobbs. Dobbs hit the ball hard all night last night and had just 1 hit to show for it. I know Ruggiano had a couple of hits, but I think Dobbs had the best swings of the night against R.A. Dickey.
Tell you the other part about the scouting report on Hefner, he works quickly. He gets it, throws, and he's in the strike zone.
Hud, I hated guys like him. Well, because you have a rhythm also. You get in the box, you want to get your practice swings in, and you look up and he's ready to pitch. Never comfortable.
But you love playing behind a guy like that.
100%, especially down here in Florida.
How hard was it for you to play behind Steve Traxel?
Traxel and I had a couple conversations about that rain delay he was featuring.
Dobbs pulls a ground ball. Davis way off the bag. Flips to Hefner. And he's living up to the scouting report. He's pounding the strike zone, and he's getting quick outs.
Es presentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
Welcome back in Miami tonight. Marlins and Mets, Josh Johnson and Jeremy Hefner. And Hefner's been outstanding. He's retired all 6 that he's faced. Johnson's given up just 1 walk. He has a strikeout. He'll face Josh Thole, then Hefner, then Ruben Tejada. Thole is in a real hole right now. He is 0 for his last 28. This is a guy that's a line drive hitter, usually a pretty consistent contact guy, but look at this 0 for.
That's amazing. He's hit 114 his last 22 games. Last time he got a base hit was August 14th.
And guys, that has to wear you out from day to day. When you're an everyday player and you look back and the hits aren't coming.
Oh, every day. I mean, because, you know, you have to be, not only from a hitting standpoint, you catching the game, you calling the game, and you have to go up there and try to get a hit. But, I mean, you know, facing, not facing, but catching R.A. Dickey yesterday and then coming up in and you 0 for 28, it's just not fun coming to the ballpark. But, you know, you keep battling, you keep swinging, and you hope that, you know, one of these balls will fall. I'm not hoping for him to fall this series, but after he leaves here, a couple can fall.
1-2 pitch from Johnson.
You know, the amazing thing, and Cliff can attest to it, you come out, all these guys are professionals, and they've worked hard to get here to the big leagues. So every day you think, okay, today's going to be the day. And then you go up there in the first 2 ABs, you're awful, and then it's so hard to get back up to that same concentration level.
100%, Hut. And, you know, I don't care what you do. You go in the cage, you work hard, you know, everybody sees that you're trying, and it just doesn't work sometimes. And you know, the day he just goes up there and says, you know what, I'm just going to see the ball and hit it and not think about it, is the day he gets 3 hits. This is how it works.
Those are his career numbers against Josh Johnson. He's actually worked the count to 3-2 now, as Josh Thole leads off the 3rd. Smacks one on a line,
and Cliff, then you do that.
That's the old hang with him.
Now let's watch Thole as he goes back into the dugout. His manager Terry Collins trying to give him encouragement.
Yeah, you can say all you want about, hey, that was a good swing. Stay right there. They'll start to fall, and you don't want to hear any of it.
He's over it. You know, you see nobody pat him on the back or pat him and say it's okay. He's tired of hearing that.
Yeah.
Guys are saying, listen, we know what the deal is. You know, let's just keep it moving, fellas.
Here's Hefner now. He's 1 for 14, and that one a home run. Reyes deep in the hole. Boy, Hefner got down the line quickly. Reyes made a very nice play.
Good communication there. Dobbs thought he was going to get to it, but when he realized he couldn't, he got out of the way, which was a good play, but it allowed Reyes to see the ball a little bit better.
Yeah, well, down here on this angle, I thought Dobbs was going to get to that ball. I didn't think it was hit that hard. It wasn't hit that hard, but, you know, with the arm of Jose Reyes, Dobbs did the right thing and got out of the way of that.
Toyota bringing you the Foxmo look from left field.
Got some new looks tonight.
Ruben Tejada. Tejada bounced to 3rd his first time up. This has a eerily similar feel to last night. The first hit in the ball game last night was in the bottom of the 3rd. It was Justin Ruggiano's single. Mets got their first hit against Nathan Eovaldi in the 4th. Reyes gets another and throws out Tejada. Johnson's rolling. Marlins and Mets are scoreless. The next all-you-can-eat seats. Monday, it's a 1:10 holiday start against the Brewers. Go to marlins.com for information. So Monday at 1 o'clock, it's Brewers and Marlins. And Donovan Solano fouls it off. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Cliff Floyd's down in the third base camera well. Cliff, I know fans enjoy sitting down low. Sometimes they get interaction with players. Sounds like you're getting some interaction with players.
Yeah, well, I'm getting messed with by my former teammates. And D. Wright, as Solano gets a hit up the middle. And Jose Reyes, they both giving me a hard time about being in a suit. They talking about my head sweating. They're talking about why am I down here. I mean, every question you can ask, whether how I'm doing. I talk to these guys, everything they know, and they give me a hard time. So it's unfortunate, fellas.
That's funny. That's pretty good.
Especially, D. Wright, I would think would give me a little better love, but it hasn't been that way. He actually tried. He was going to throw a ball over here, but he doesn't know when I'm on air. So.
And you guys were on that. I mean, if in recent Mets history, the shining light is that 2006 team, right?
Yes. That's when we was at our best, or one of our best years. Especially with the way it's unfolded for them lately. Yes, that's been one of the most prominent years.
And that was the year you were beaten in, what was it, Game 7 by the St. Louis Cardinals?
Oh, horrible memories. Thanks a lot, Rich. But I had the opportunity in that game. Struck out against Adam Wainwright, pitcher for St. Louis, now a starter. When we talk about scouting reports with Hefner, we had never faced Adam Wainwright. We didn't know exactly what he's featuring. We went out scouting reports. He had a big 12-6, as he still features to this day. And he threw it to me in a count. I had 2 fastballs before that. Threw it to me in a count and just struck out. I mean, I had no idea it was coming, and I swung. I actually didn't swing because I knew if I had swung at it, I would have rolled over and it'd been a double play. We've been out of the game.
Well, and he threw it to Carlos Beltran to end the ball game,
yes,
too.
He did.
0-2 here to Buck. One and 2. Hefner is out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. The Mets drafted him in 04 and 05 in the 46th and the 48th round, but he went on to Oral Roberts, where the Padres took him in the 5th round. Pittsburgh claimed him on waivers November this past offseason, and then Pittsburgh waived him. The Mets claimed him a month later in December. Perkins, Oklahoma, is home. We have Foxmo in a unique spot. Watch the swing and watch the bat of Solano. See the little splinter come off?
Yeah, you could see it as he made contact.
You never would have guessed that because that was a pretty well struck ball.
Down here it sounded a little funny, though.
Okay.
It sounded a little funny. I knew he did something. I knew he didn't square it up. But, that's that heavy ball that Hefner's featured.
There's our Foxmo camera out right over the 401 sign.
I'll tell you another thing, fellas. Being down here and watching these pitches cross the dish, it's a tough gig for Jerry Mills as John Buck fouls that ball off. I mean, those pitches look really good. And, of course, I have a different angle because I'm on the backside of John Buck. But, when you're looking at these pitches, it's a tough, the umpires take a lot of criticism, but it is tough with these pitchers coming around the plate, two-seamers, cutters. They have a tough gig every night.
Solano's running a ground ball to short. Tejada throws to first in time. That brings up an interesting question, and I'll ask both of you guys this. In all major sports, hockey, basketball, football, you see ex-players who become officials. In Major League Baseball, you don't see Major League players become umpires. And just in taking what Cliff said, it would occur to me that especially a guy that was, say, a journeyman catcher, a minor league catcher, a guy that spent a lot of time behind the plate, would make a very good umpire.
I guess my first answer to that would be, why would he want to do that?
See, there's the problem. There's the problem.
But I think you do have a lot of umpires who were minor league players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do. And, I actually know one of that I actually became really close with because I had him through the minor leagues. Once he stopped playing, I was CB Buckner. And you look, and I actually, I'm on Twitter at Sleepy30, and I get a lot of talk, a lot of tweets about these umpires. And CB Buckner names comes up a lot. And when he was actually umpiring for me, we would have our back and forth battles, but it is tough. You can only imagine what they go through day in and day out of the criticism of what should be implemented and what shouldn't be. And I just think it's just way too tough. Being down here, like I said, on field level, it is really tough to even just look at some of these pitches that look really close if you're in the fans or in my angle.
Johnson swings and misses, and he is the second out of this third inning. This copyright telecast presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. I would love to see some players in spring training games go out and try to umpire games. And I remember Tom Verducci 3 or 4 years ago did that and wrote a fascinating article in Sports Illustrated about the experience.
You know what? I don't think you get any to do it, but I think it would definitely help some of these guys understand how hard it is.
Brian Peterson drives it left center field. Torres can run. He can't get it, and it goes to the wall. Peterson around second. He'll stop there. And Miami has the first run. Fourth double of the season for Peterson.
That was really a great angle that we had. You could see that ball slicing away from Andres Torres. And I'm sure Brian Peterson, with the way his luck has gone this year, probably thought Torres was going to catch up to it.
You know what? I was talking to him in between innings, guys, and he's just like, you know what? That first baseman been there for how many years? And I go, right, you're right. Get this ball in the air, and he did that in that situation. But we talked about that in the pregame. You don't see guys, and then you actually do see them. One time through, it gives you a better idea of what he's featuring, and then second time through, third time through, you can put better swings on him as Peterson did right there.
Rich, we've talked about different players in kind of an audition mode, and I think Brian Peterson has really displayed what he can do to the organization and to Ozzie as well. He can play all three outfield spots. He can pinch it a little bit. He has speed. He can run.
He's a better hitter than his average right now. Having watched his at-bats over the last month, he'll hit 2 or 3 balls hard a game. And if you do that consistently, that's usually good for a hit a game. And he's not getting those type of results.
Yeah, and I think, when you look at what Peterson's done, he's definitely opened some eyes. And Ozzie's played the game. He knows that it's not always about stats. It's not always about coming through. And, even though it is about, getting guys in when you need to and getting hits, but it's not always, on that, where especially a guy in Peterson's situation where he's not going to play every day, but just give you quality at bats. Greg Dobbs has made, a name for himself. Austin Kearns has made a name for himself. These guys are just saying, listen, I'm going to give you a quality bat, and that's all I can give you. Peterson has jumped on board.
He's at second right now. The count's 3-1 to Ruggiano. Marlins have their first run of the series. Shutout last night by R.A. Dickey, a 5-hit shutout. Facing Jeremy Hefner tonight. And Ruggiano watches that breaking ball miss outside. Here comes Reyes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Tico, the People's Gas, updates you with the standings. The Washington Nationals came from behind and had a 9-8 lead and lost that lead. The Cardinals beat the Nationals 10-9. And Atlanta lost. So the Braves are 6.5 back. And all of a sudden Atlanta's having some issues.
Boy, Craig Kimbrell blew a save last night. Gave up a 9th inning home run to Eric Kratz.
They ran into Cliff Lee, and the Phillies beat him today 5-1.
And I'm sure right now Atlanta Braves fans are saying, uh-oh, let's not do the same thing we did last year.
Well, even though you try not to think about it, it's definitely there from a player side. You in that locker room, and T-Hut, you know that, you know, it creeps in your mind like, uh-oh. As you say, it does go, uh-oh. Now we have to figure out a way to get out of it.
0-1 pitch to Reyes.
Some good changeups this inning from Hefner. He actually threw a couple of good ones to Josh Johnson.
Down 0-2. Reyes talking openly the last couple of days about his goal of getting to 300 before the season is out, and he's got a month to go.
That's Jose Reyes right there. You know, he sees the ball all the way through. And he's going to give you that. You know, he's going to get the 300 if he does that. But you know, sometimes pitchers, as a Hefner, a control guy, will use his aggressiveness against him.
You got him to go after a changeup earlier in the count. That one's ripped into right field and caught by Baxter. Boy, Reyes hit it right on the button. Miami will have to settle for a run. But that's a start after getting shut out last night. 1-0 Marlins. RBI double. Josh Johnson right back to work. Flips up a breaking ball, a curveball to Daniel Murphy. Now, we told you that Randy St. Clair in the side session with Johnson talked a little bit about working in that curveball to lefties rather than just fastball slider. And we've seen him do that so far this year, or this ball game. That curveball this year is something that he really hadn't thrown a whole lot through his whole career.
But it can be really effective, you know, once you start to throw it for a strike, because now you have hitters thinking about it. And anytime you have guys thinking about, you know, that second pitch and actually you throwing it for a strike, it gives you that doubt in your mind, especially when you can be as good as JJ can be.
Murphy pulls one. Solano fires to first in time. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Hey, Rich, thank you very much. Well, in the Florida State League on Tuesday night, these two teams, minor league teams, will be meeting in the postseason. It's for the second straight year, though last year it was in the South Atlantic League. It'll be Jupiter and St. Lucie. Jupiter winning the second half. St. Lucie was 30 games over 500 in the first half. They got to choose which game they'd like to host, so they decided on August 1st actually that they would host game 2 and potentially game 3. Last year the Marlins Greensboro team beat Savannah, and many of the same players that were featured on those teams in the South Atlantic League are on these two teams. And as you may recall, Greensboro won the South Atlanta League Championship last year. Later, we'll look at a couple of stars of Jupiter, including Jose Fernandez. The pitcher is having an unbelievable year. He's 14-1 in his 2 stops in single A.
All right, thanks, Craig. It'd be interesting, too, to see the guys that are going to go on to play in the Arizona Fall League as well and follow their fortunes.
Yeah, usually the Arizona Fall League is dotted with all the prospects from most of the major leagues.
Wright takes down low. 1-0, Miami on top. It's the 4th. Josh Johnson, much better than his last time out against the Dodgers. And he walks Wright with 1 out. Second walk for JJ. He has just 1 strikeout. AT&T brings you the trivia question in the 4th inning every night. We flip the phone and get to pinch hitters. Tommy Hutton, a terrific pinch hitter in his day since '74. Who holds Major League Baseball's highest batting average as a pinch hitter since '74.
Well, we always have to throw in all-time Lenny Harris.
All time.
Got to throw in all-time, right, Cliff?
Yeah, you definitely got to throw him, man. How about John Vanderwall?
Ooh, a teammate of yours with the Expos.
You guys just got the buzzer twice.
Wow, that's a good one, too. How about Denny Walling? Wait a minute now. We have to use our head here. Marlins are playing the Mets. So
Well, we know it's not me. Not playing for both.
We got to think Mets. How about Rusty Staub?
Dobbs is there, and he makes the catch. Well, that's why we have Craig Minervini here. If it's a Mets question, Craig's the one you lean on.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I'm sorry because I was just talking about what was the question?
The question is, since 1974, who has the highest batting average in baseball as a pinch hitter, and apparently it's Met related.
Oh, a pinch hitter. Did you say Rusty Staub?
Yeah, that was our first shot. We got the buzzer.
Let me think of that one. Great Met pinch hitter. Ed Kranepool was a good one, but that was before '74.
Oh,
really?
You got the bell. I mean, he was before '74, but they're talking about a period '74 and after. So
okay, maybe he came in he was about 19 when in '62, so maybe he lingered for a few years into the mid '70s. Eddie Kranepool. What's that? I thought I got the bells.
I think you did. Yeah, I think you got the bell.
I think the crack staff is playing with all of our heads tonight.
Oh, I had no clue.
Who was the best pinch hitter when you were a Met, Cliff? Who was your pinch hitter off the bench?
You know, we had so many different ones. You know, looking back, who was it? Oh, you know who it was? He's still playing today. It's Miguel Cairo.
Cairo, yeah.
The Cincinnati Reds. Yeah, he would get it done every time he got opportunity. He was big for us.
But not as big as Ed Kranepool, apparently.
No.
All right, Ike Davis is up. Josh Johnson with a 1-0 lead has walked David Wright. And he throws in a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. We've seen Johnson top out at 95. And he's 1-1 on the Mets first baseman, Ike Davis, who grew up in Arizona. His father, Ron, pitched for the Yankees. Davis had a big career at Arizona State and is still quite young. Or excuse me. Yeah, you're right. I'm off on a tangent. The whole Ed Kranepool thing got me.
You were thinking Mark Carrion.
Yes.
I remember him.
Well, Lucas Duda did play in the Pac-10 along with Ike Davis. Duda was at USC. Davis was at Arizona State.
Man, this Duda a big boy.
He is.
Sitting down here, he's big.
254 is Duda. And those are guys, I mean, early in the telecast, Jeff Conine was projecting his 2013 Marlins lineup. I think for the Mets, projecting next year, they're hopeful that both Duda and Davis can do it. And Carlos Lee.
Wow.
Cat-like reactions for El Caballo.
Oh, man, what a play. You can't sneak it by El Caballo. Brought to you by the new summer menu at Burger King. Let's have a barbecue today. By Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. And by the Florida Department of Transportation. Drive sober or get pulled over. Gorgeous shot downtown Miami on a Saturday night. And a good ball game here. Bottom of the fourth. And a 1-0 Marlin lead. Cliff, what's going on down there?
Well, D. Wright just threw me a ball over here and it hurt my hand a little bit. Other than that, you know, how many times do you see a great play by a first baseman and they come up and get a hit the first time up in the bottom half of the inning?
Knocks it into right field.
El Caballo playing the game. Other than that, everything's chilled. Fans are a little relaxed. You know, kids doing the usual action for baseballs, but, you know, nothing too much.
And you'll be headed, where are you headed next, by the way?
Well, I think I'm headed down the first baseline. I'm going to go down into the bullpen area around that 335 area and, you know, get that perspective, see what it's looking like down there.
All right, well, heads up. Here's Stanton, leads it first. And Stanton goes after a fastball, pops it foul and out of play.
Let's see how Hefner pitches Giancarlo if he pitches him the same way. Remember, he got him to swing at 2 fastballs that were up a little bit in the zone.
Well, if he's smart, he will pitch him the same way.
BB&T Foxtrot's last at bat. And pitch number 4 is the one he went after and missed.
Again, that time it was off speed. Looked like the changeup.
You know, the odd thing is if you watch Josh Tolley set up, he's not set up high. He's out low and away.
I'll tell you one thing. If he misses up there, though, he's going to pay the price.
Now he's moved in. It counts 2-2.
You know, that fastball up always looks good to a power guy. You just feel like you can do so many things with it. You know, and you seem to never do, but it just looks so good.
Stanton swings and misses. 91-mile-an-hour cutter. And there's one out. Let's answer trivia. AT&T. Flip the phone. Here we go. Since '74, highest batting average by a pinch hitter.
And everything Mets, we always go to Craig Minervini, and he was right on the money. Ed Kranepool.
So all of those at-bats were after 74?
Yeah. From 74 through 79.
Wow.
But Ed Kranepool, as Craig pointed out, did arrive to the major leagues as a teenager.
Those unbelievable numbers. That's hard to do. I don't care who you are. I mean, coming off the bench is one of the hardest gigs in the game. I've tried to do it. I was just horrible at it.
0-1 to Dobbs. He swings and misses.
Ed Kranepool, Rich, and Cliff had 6 ABs in 1962, and he was 17 years old. And then the next year, 63, he had 294 ABs, played in 86 games as an 18-year-old.
And what makes his pinch hitting numbers even more impressive, and you were a part of that era as well.
That played against him for a lot of years.
Is you didn't have the cages near the dugouts. Most places didn't even have a screen. You could take soft toss or hit off the tee.
Oh, you and I have talked about it. San Francisco, Wrigley Field, they were awful places to pinch hit because you had no place to go.
All you could do to get loose was grab a bat and go on deck and swing. See the aforementioned Miguel Cairo on that list. Dobbs takes one in the dirt. Look at El Caballo.
I'll tell you, the last week or so, El Caballo's gotten frisky on the bases.
You got like see where it starts, right? With the secondary lead. You teach all the youngsters out there, you have to do the fundamental part of the game also. You can't just be a hitter, or you can't just be a pitcher. You have to do the little things in order to get you good results. In that situation right there, Carlos Lee got a secondary lead and was able to get a good jump.
They hopping off, had his momentum moving. As soon as the ball hit the dirt, he took off.
That one fouled back and out of play. It's interesting to be around a player that you've seen play from afar for a long time. And I think one of the things that I've taken from being around Carlos Lee for the last 2 months, he's an extremely smart player.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rich. His IQ for the game is through the roof. And you only can be as good as he is by studying the game and understanding, what situations mean and taking advantage of them.
Dobbs scorches that one, and it's just foul.
He knows his abilities. He knows his limitations. He knows his body. He knows he's not 100% all the time. I know you and I've talked to him about that. He said you don't always go out there 100%. So if you're 90%, if your body feels that way, that's the way you play. If you try to play more than that, you're going to get hurt. And over his long career, he's pretty much stayed healthy all the time.
It's a good battle here. Hefner and Dobbs. One out. Lee's at second. Dobbs shoots that one foul.
Ball went over my head. My reflex is not that good anymore.
Marlins got a run in the third on a Brian Peterson RBI double. Hefner checks Lee. Dobbs takes in. And now it's 2-2.
You were talking, Rich, about Jeremy Hefner out of Oral Roberts University. His coach there, Rob Walton, he credits with a lot of help in developing him as a pitcher.
Dobbs pulls that ground ball to the right side. Murphy gathers it in. Lee arrives at third. And here comes Donovan Solano with an opportunity to drive in a run with 2 outs.
There's always, I'm anxious to hear who it would have been for Cliff. There's always one person, a manager, a coach, somebody along the line that says the right thing, gets the right thing to you, gets the right message. Was there a person for you, Cliff?
Yeah, it's Tommy Hopper with the Montreal Expos.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, he taught me. He taught in my opinion, so many different guys. Just, the little fundamentals of, hitting the baseball up the middle, staying with your strength. We talk about that with Carlos Lee. Just doing the little things is going to get you through and sort of get you some consistency in the big leagues. Longevity, he talked about that a lot, and it just clicked. Whether it was soft toss, whether it was how much I need to be in the cage, how much I need to work on certain things as terms of my offense and my defense and the base running. He used every element, and I thought that was big early on. Not later, but early on, so I could get it, use it, apply it. I was a quick learner. I could apply it if you gave it to me, and Tommy Harper, hats off to him because he did.
2-0 pitch, Solano out to center. A lot of room out there, and Torres is out there, and he makes the catch. All right, Cliff Floyd is on the move. Marlins are up. We'll be back for more Marlins baseball after this sports injury prevention message from the Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Foxmo look at what we've seen tonight. 1-0 Miami, Subway fifth. Brian Peterson's RBI double, scoring Donovan Solano. That's the only run of the ball game, and Josh Johnson fires a strike. Mike Baxter, Andres Torres, and then Josh Tolley. Fifth inning.
There's a lot of nice curveballs tonight,
especially to those left-handed hitters. Though that one not inside the Fox tracks. JJ misses. It's 1-2. Johnson making start number 27. No swing, said Scott Berry. And for JJ, I think that number is significant. The 27th start. He's over 160 innings. Certainly the results are not there, and they don't really coincide and jive with the numbers that he's put up in his career. But having him out there healthy every 5 days is a good first step.
And I know that's something that he certainly wanted to do when he approached this season. He wanted to stay healthy.
Liner in the gap, left center field. Baxter races around first, and he's in there with a double. Mike Baxter, first hit for the Mets, and it comes here in the fifth inning. Time now for the Just for Men Keep Your Edge Spotlight. Justin Ruggiano against the East, Central, not so much against the West. He's been consistent. He's given Miami an edge. You can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard. So the Mets have a runner at second, and now they'll try to get him over, get him in. Torres has popped out, and he gets him over. Solano fires to first in time.
All right, if you Terry Collins, you're a pretty aggressive manager, and you have a hitter coming up who's 0 for 29. You certainly have to put squeeze in the back of your mind. You have to think about that with the pitcher coming up too.
Second season as a Mets manager. Did a very nice job last year keeping it together in what was a tumultuous season off the field for the Mets. Infield's in. Tolley lined to short his first time up. And he takes outside. So Tolley did have a good swing in the third, but he hit it right at Reyes. Two and 0. Now the pitcher is on deck. Tolley going after it, fouls it back, 2-1.
The other thing about Josh Tolley, you have to, if you're a Mets fan, you wonder about next year, and he's not a whole lot offense. He's not going to give you a whole lot offensively, but he's done a great job handling R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer. So you have to think about that as well.
Counts 2-1. And it's 2-2. Agreed. And I think if you're the Mets and you're out looking for catching help, Josh Tolley, if you find a starter, Josh Tolley is a guy that you would look at as your backup guy.
And your guy who catches every 5 days and catches R.A. Dickey.
Amen. Mike Baxter doubled. Torres moved him up with a ground ball out. He's at third. And Johnson misses. The count's full now at 3-2.
You know that if he loses Tolley, that Hefner will be bunting more in a sacrifice situation, but you have to be real careful with the runner at third.
Bouncer up the middle. Reyes has it, and on first contact, Baxter was moving, and he scores.
And I think Jose Reyes made the right play. Baxter got a great jump. Because the ball took Reyes a little bit toward the middle, watch Baxter. He's on the move. Reyes would have had to turn his body completely around to get something on the throw to the plate. And it's a chancy play. You're in the fifth inning. I think Jose made the right choice.
That's a great angle there. You can see the jump. And I know it's an offer for Josh Tolley, but that has to feel like half a hit. I mean, that feels like a productive at bat and not an offer.
Well, the Mets do some little things. The double, the ground ball by Torres, got Baxter over to third, and Tolley making contact, got the run in.
This is Hefner. He bounced to short back in the third. JJ throws him a curveball.
So you're a catcher. You don't have time to gloat and to think about all that. You go back in the dugout and put the gear on.
Two and two. Curveball, strike three called. Inning over, but Mike Baxter a leadoff double. Torres moved him over. Tolley got him in, and it's 1-1. Marlins. Marlin fans, tune in on Tuesday for the next edition of Inside the Marlins, Jobs in Baseball. Hear about some of the jobs that are not part of the 25-man roster. Find out about a typical day and the role they play as the Marlins prepare for a game. Inside the Marlins, Jobs in Baseball premieres Tuesday, 10:30, right here on Fox Sports Florida, where Marlin fans live. After the Marlins and the Brewers tangle, Frank Ford will be by with Inside the Marlins, Jobs in Baseball. What jobs would you like to find out about in baseball, Tommy Hutton?
I think Cullen McRae has an interesting job in the video end of things, especially with the way videos become so prominent.
That one fouled out of play.
C-Mac always, I mean, you go into his office, the library of videos is incredible, and he can, the touch of a finger, find an at-bat, a pitch, a pitcher.
David Wright picks it and fires to first. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Hey, Rich, earlier we were talking about the Jupiter Hammerheads going to the postseason. Here's three of the reasons why the Marlins are very happy to see three of their top prospects doing quite well. Marcell Ozuna has set new Jupiter franchise records for home runs, 24, very rare in the Florida State League, 95 ribbies, that's a record. He's just 21 years of age at 267. But there's a couple other reasons, too. The other outfielder out there and one of their starting pitchers, Christian Yelich, former #1 pick, Jose Fernandez, #1 pick. These are the last 2 years, 2010, 2011. Yelich 5 for 5 last night, .330 average, one of the top 5 in all of Single A. And Jose Fernandez has been unbelievable. He helped Greensboro get to the first half division championship, so they'll be going to the postseason. Then he was called up to Jupiter, and he's gone 7-1 there, so 14-1 combined, with over 150 strikeouts and just over 130 innings. Three guys doing a great job, and if you're up there and you want to watch them play, they'll take on St. Lucie on Tuesday night in Jupiter, with possible games coming Wednesday and Thursday in St. Lucie. Guys?
Trying to get a ring. In the minor leagues, you win a league championship, you get a championship ring. Hut, when you were coming up in the Dodgers organization, you played on what many have called the greatest minor league team ever, and that was that Spokane Indians team.
Yeah, 1970. And yes, won the championship, Pacific Coast League championship. Got the ring. It was a great experience, and I think for minor league players, if they're not all thinking about this at the time, but the odds are most of them aren't going to get here. So to have that experience, to be on a championship team, is tremendous.
You still have the ring?
I do somewhere. I know I do. I'm not exactly sure where, but I know I have.
Was that the only one that you won in the Dodgers organization?
Yes.
Brian Peterson smoked a ball that Ike Davis got at first, back in the first, then doubled the left center field to drive in a run. He pops this one out to center. Andres Torres is there, and he makes the catch. Jeremy Hefner, a 1-2-3 fifth. This game all knotted up, one apiece. tight ball game here. 1-1, sixth inning. Josh Johnson has been outstanding. So has Jeremy Hefner, along with Tommy Hutton, Cliff Floyd, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. The band is back together in the truck tonight. John Solser, the producer. Jim Holley, our director. That one lined in the left field off the bat of Ruben Tejada. Cutting it off is Peterson. Tejada, a big turn. Peterson has a great arm. And back is Tejada at first base. Remember last week when we did the episode on tools in baseball, Baseball America ranking Major League players with best tools and such, and we asked different Marlins, all right, who do you think has the best on the Marlins team? Who has the best power? Who has the best speed? When Brian Peterson was asked, who do you think has the best arm? Peterson said, me.
Well, he had a chance to show it off, and he got to that ball. When you're a left fielder in that situation, you know that Tejada has speed, so you've got to get over, get it quickly, and then come up with a strong throw, and he did all of those things. And by doing that, Tejada took the big turn but had to stay at first base.
A leadoff hit turned into a run for the Mets in the fifth. Daniel Murphy has bounced twice to Solano at second.
Torres is one of the guys who will run. He has 10 stolen bases on the year. Tejada, on the other hand, just 2. So Tejada with 2. Andres Torres, their center fielder, has 10. David Wright has 12. He leads the club.
Tejada has filled in very well at short. He's actually done quite well in terms of batting average, all taking the place of Jose Reyes. But you're right about the stolen bases. He's not been able to duplicate or come close to the speed that Reyes provided for the Mets for so many years.
But fellas, when you look at Tejada and the shoes he had to field, he's done a nice job. You know, it's always tough to sort of come in after a superstar, Jose Reyes, especially in New York City. But he's been able to fill in pretty nicely over that shortstop.
Now, I'm guessing that Cliff has not hit the Clevelander yet because it didn't sound like there was a party going on.
No, I'm actually down here caged in right field, right by the foul line.
Pop up down the third baseline. Reyes is over. Peterson is there too. And Peterson makes the catch. Tejada retreats to first base. There he is. Look at you.
Down here chilling. See the chain link in front of me? I got my security to the right.
It's like you got your own section down there.
I really do.
Very nice.
Are you getting lots of tweets?
I'm getting lots of tweets, lots of love from the fans.
All right.
Some Mets fans here. Me being played in New York, getting a lot of love from them. But the Marlin fans are definitely good. It's, happy to see me, so that's always good.
Here's a question for you as a former Marlin and as a former Met. Where do you think this guy will be playing not only next year, but in the next 5-6 years?
I think that's a great question, Rich. And I think with what's going on in New York as he flies out to center field, what happens with the team is going to play a pivotal role, and I think in his decision. We were represented by the same agency in New York, and I know he wants to win. I think that's going to be bottom line. So if I had to guess, somewhere hot all year round sounds good to me. That's a little hint.
There's an option next year. The team has an option next year at pretty large money. I think it's $16 million. But that's it. That's the end of the line for his contract.
You know who's looking for a third baseman because they're actually thinking about sending Chase Utley. Well, yeah, I know you thought I was going to say the Marlins, but the Phillies could use a third baseman too.
Yeah, Chase Utley volunteered to play there. There's a liner off the bat of Ike Davis. Ruggiano is there, and he makes the catch and fires a souvenir up into the seats. Josh Johnson pitches around that leadoff single. This game is rolling into the bottom of the sixth. Mets, Marlins in the bottom of the 6th. Brian Peterson opened the scoring in the bottom of the 3rd. He scored Donovan Solano with that RBI double. The Mets constructed a run in their half of the 5th. Mike Baxter, a leadoff double. Ground balls by Andres Torres got him over, and Josh Tolley got him in. Ruggiano goes after a breaking ball, skies it to right. Baxter is out there, and he makes the catch.
So far, there just haven't been a lot of balls, actually on either side. A lot of balls that have really been squared up. Good solid swings.
You know, fellas, I had a thought. You know, as I'm sitting down here by the foul poles, you know, there's been a lot of talk about instant replay, and you know, umpires going down and checking, home runs, whether they foul or fair. If you just sit a guy down here in the by right field and by left field, you eliminate that problem.
You know what? Let him go down there, buy him a few beers, a little popcorn.
And he is good to go.
He's
really
good to
see.
I've always wondered why in the postseason, when they do put an umpire down the line, that the umpire isn't closer to the wall where you are. I mean, like almost standing behind the wall.
I definitely agree with you, Rich. It makes the most sense to me.
Because you'd be able to look straight up the foul pole, and you'd be able to look right down the line.
Yes. And it's very easy to see everything. You're not going to get many balls, that you have to worry about.
Reyes lines it into left field for a hit. And so Jose Reyes 1 for 3 and now 1 for 6 in this series.
Jose's hit the ball hard, though. Remember that line drive last time up that he hit the right field?
Absolute bullet.
Now Carlos Lee.
Reyes got picked off last night by R.A. Dickey.
One thing we've seen with Reyes, he has not stolen a whole lot of bases in the last month. When the Mets and the Marlins played, look at that. Yes, he's one steal shy of 400, one attempt shy of 500. When the Mets and Marlins played in early August, Reyes had he had 27 stolen bases. He's got 29 now.
I wonder if a little bit is just him and worrying about his hand and worrying about staying on the field. It's been one of those years when he's, actually, you tip your hat to him. He's been able to stay on the field consistently, and maybe that has a little bit to do with the fact that he slides head. He only goes in head first. He had that situation in Washington where he hurt his thumb, so maybe that plays a bit into why he hasn't stole that much.
1-2 pitch. Lee reaches out, pokes it into right field. Reyes is going to go from first to third. Baxter's throw is not in time. And Miami is set up at the corners.
What an AB, what a swing by Carlos Lee, and then great running by Jose Reyes.
Guys, from my angle back here, I think El Caballo thought Jose was running, and he was trying to hit that hole. We talked about his IQ. He's such a smart guy. He sees Reyes running, or sort of takes off and hesitates. He's swinging all the way trying to hit that hole, but just a great piece, as you talked about, Tom.
That pitch that Carlos Lee hit clearly was 4 or 5 inches off the plate, and he just reached out, poked it into right field. Watch this. That's not even close.
That's unhittable. That is one of those pitches that's normally unhittable, especially for a big guy like Carlos Lee. And he just he stays over the dish. He's never trying to, do too much with the baseball, and that's why he gets those type of hits.
All right, now here's an interesting situation. Hefner has thrown a lot of pitches by Giancarlo Stanton tonight. Hefner tonight has had 11 swings and misses, 4 by Stanton. Let's see if he approaches him the same way.
Off the end of the bat, and it rolls up the line. Davis backhands, safe. Hefner stopped. It's 2-1, and everybody is safe. I think Hefner saw Davis look at home and figured he was going home.
But again, Reyes got a great jump. So terrific base running. First to third by Reyes. And now on contact, there he goes to the plate on the little squibber off the end of the bat. Davis looked to home, and you're right. Hefner kind of paused.
Well, I think Ike Davis right there, guys, forgot who was running at third base. And then he said, uh-oh, let me try to get Stanton. And, of course, Hefner, couldn't find the bag on the toss from Ike Davis.
And give Giancarlo credit for getting up the line and running well up the line.
He's going to get an infield hit on it.
Gotta love it, right?
With an RBI. Now Dobbs is up, first and second, 1 out.
Talk about manufacturing runs. That's how you manufacture runs. 2 hits like that.
Yeah, Reyes' ball, obviously the best one of the inning, that liner to left, but then Lee doinks one into right, and then Stanton has one off the end of the bat that spins up the first base line. One 0 to Dobbs. Lifted foul and out of play. Manny Acosta getting ready in the bullpen. Both teams at the top of the East lost. The Nationals 10-9 at home to St. Louis. The Braves 5-1 at home to Cliff Lee and the Phillies. The Phillies are 5 under now at 64 and 69. And it wasn't that long ago that the Phillies were in the basement of the East, with the Mets in the middle of the pack and the Marlins in 4th place. Now the Marlins occupy the basement. The Mets are a ways behind. The Phillies climbing up the ladder. Marlins looking for win number 60 on the season. That last foul ball. Hey, got the catch. That's pretty cool.
That's why you bring your glove.
The 2-2. Dobbs a little liner to left. And it's caught there by Duda. So there are 2 outs. Coors Light every night presents the freeze cam. We freeze something. This was El Caballo's play. Get the glove down, get the body down, and get the out. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Now, in that play, he'll always say, he had it all the way.
He had it played just right.
We all know that the ball caught him in that situation.
Here's Solano. Now Solano singled in the 3rd. Little pop-up, shallow center. Torres comes on, pulls everyone off, and makes the catch. But Miami gets a run. Cliff's on the move. And we'll find him when we return.
In the box score, people will think that Giancarlo had a line drive bolt to left to drive in that run. A little ground ball did the trick. Here's your pitching comparison between Jeremy Hefner, who's been good, and Josh Johnson, who's been very good as well. Z. Johnson has thrown just 77 pitches through 6 innings.
Yeah, he has been good and efficient.
And that's great to see, because his last time out, the Dodgers rocked his world. He lost 8-2. He lasted just 3 innings.
They gave up that first inning home run in the theatrical entrance of Adrian Gonzalez, a 3-run shot, and then Mark Ellis took him deep.
Gave up 3 doubles in those 3 innings, along with those 2 homers. And he threw 89 pitches. He threw 89 pitches in 3 innings in that ball game.
So yeah, it is good to see. We did point out, if you kind of eliminate that game, in JJ's losses, the ball club hasn't scored. The ball club scored 5 runs in his 4 losses, his last 4 starts.
Lucas Duda, Mike Baxter, Andres Torres for the Mets. That's Scott Berry down at third base.
And when you look at JJ's August record, 1-4, but an ERA of 3.86.
One, 2 is up. 2-2.
I mean, the numbers are really interesting. Second half of the season for Josh, 2-6, but a 3.90 ERA.
That speaks to a couple of issues. One is the inability of the Marlins offense to score runs for any starter, let alone Josh Johnson.
Cue it up, get a little chalk on the bat. But JJ 8-2 in his career against the Mets.
He's had trouble in the last couple of innings getting the leadoff hitter out. Duda fouls it back and out of play. Giants beat the Cubs 5-2. The Dodgers, who are trying to chase down the Giants, are taking on the Diamondbacks tonight in Los Angeles. The Diamondbacks on the periphery of the races in the West and in the wild card. Young man down there made a nice play earlier in the at-bat. That one, though, I don't think he's going to get an error. That was a tough play. Looks like he's got a first baseman's glove down.
Yeah, better check with the scorekeeper, though.
Here was the first play, and you know, you always want to make it look like you've been there before, like, hey, I can make this play. I think he taunts the baseball gods by going, he's got the good look going there, though, with the big first baseman's glove. Swing and a miss. Now there is the slider, and that comes, Tommy, from being able to throw the curveball all night for strikes, and then suddenly from 80 miles an hour it goes to 87.
Hard slider, great location. It took 10 pitches to strike out Lucas Duda. The amazing thing, JJ threw 6 pitches the entire 6th inning. That was a great pitch.
Now Mike Baxter, and a great sign that Johnson's throwing 94 right now. Two and 0.
talking about St. Louis's win over Washington 10-9. I was really surprised when I read today Washington's 10-0 win last night with Gio Gonzalez going the distance, winning his 17th game. That was his first career shutout. It was his first complete game this year, but it was his first career shutout.
JJ off the mound to get the Baxter ground ball. Andres Torres comes up. El Caballo and JJ with a word. All My Son's Moving and Storage poll question. Which two-city metroplex is having the most fun this season? Well, you've got Cinderella stories in of those top 2 choices in 3 of the 4 cities, in Baltimore and in Washington and in Oakland. Cubs, White Sox, Mets, Yankees, not so much.
I'm saying it has to be Baltimore, Washington, probably even ahead of San Francisco, Oakland.
I'm with you because you've got 2. One, a really long-suffering franchise in the Nationals, or whoever has played in Washington, or if you even want to go back into the Expo days. And then another that has had a long dry spell in the Orioles, a once proud franchise, one of the flagship franchises in Major League Baseball in the 60s and the 70s, and with success in the 80s. Robert Carson, Manny Acosta, 2-1, Miami on top. It's the 7th. Torres pulls it foul. The Washington bullpen buckled tonight,
which is a surprise because certainly one of their strengths.
The Nationals jumped out to a 6-2 lead. Swing and a miss.
Wow.
Only to come back and then blow that lead to St. Louis. Speaking of that, Josh Johnson blowing it by Andres Torres. A 1-2-3-7 for JJ. Right now, Josh Johnson and Miami on top. Floyd has been just about everywhere. Now, I can tell for the sound effects where Cliff Floyd is.
You know what I mean, fellas? This is where it's all at. This is going on down here.
Now, we had a chance, Cliff, to do the fantasy auction from out there. We had a great time.
Yeah, you know, it's a little quiet tonight, but it's still, you know, still rocking and rolling. A little quiet during the, during the week. Well, I guess it's not during the week. This is the weekend, so it's a little quiet down here. But, I mean, I guess everybody is still having a good time. It's the 7th inning. you know what happens in the first 1 through 6. You know, you get it in, and then it sort of quiets down about the 7th inning, as we are in right now.
John Buck is up right now, and it's the end of the line for Jeremy Hefner. Manny Acosta in for the Mets, and Acosta gets Buck, JJ, and then Brian Peterson, the top of the order.
Well, you only thought when you stop playing that you get confused with the days of the week. They all run together. So being Saturday, here I am thinking it's a Thursday night or a Wednesday night because it's not as packed as I'm normally accustomed to.
Well, the music's going, and we can see from up here the dancers are going as well.
Oh, yeah. I'm in a bad spot right now, so we need to hurry this up.
1-2 to Buck.
One thing, the Marlins will see a little more heat from Acosta. His fastball, we've already seen 196. Goes a little bit harder than Hefner.
Hefner was not bad tonight. I mean, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs. He's put together 2 really nice starts. I mean, his previous start, he went 8 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 7 strikeouts. That was against Houston.
And got a no decision in that game.
He walked 1 and struck out 4 in this ball game.
You know, and everybody thinks it's easy to go out and face a team like Houston, even though they have some inexperienced hitters. You know, those are the ones that you have to be careful about because they're trying to open eyes, you know, as they move forward with that young group in Houston. And, you know, he did a good job his last start out, and he just carried it over. And we talked about it earlier. He is a control guy. He definitely goes off of, you know, his confidence rises off of what he does on the mound. And I think he just added to that tonight. Pretty decent performance.
Now, Cliff, we just had a shot. We don't have camera 12 up and running today, but we did have a shot from outside the Clevelander. And you are in a bad spot because to your right and back where the food's being served, the drinks are being enjoyed.
He's kind of, Rich, he's kind of where we were the night during the fantasy auction when we broadcast from out there.
Yeah, you can't be where I'm at right now and enjoy the Clevelander experience. You have to be up where the water is, where there's a possibility after you had a couple that you might fall in the pool. Where I'm at right now, all I'm doing is falling into a seat.
You know, I don't think we've seen anyone fall in the pool, or at least captured it on camera at all this year. Have you actually been out there for a series of games at all, Cliff?
Yeah, I came out here for a couple games when the Dodgers were in town, as we have the wave coming through the Clevelander right now with the fans. But I came out here and, you know, I didn't see anybody fall in, but it was some guys really, really close to falling in. You know, a little air, a little push here, a little shove, they would have been in for sure.
2-2 to Josh Johnson, facing Manny Acosta in the bottom of the 7th. And down he goes. Acosta has come in and struck out the first 2 that he has faced. So there are 2 outs. Marlins and Brewers, this is a 4-game series, and remember, it starts on the holiday on Monday, and it starts at 1:10. You get the all-you-can-eat seats for just $24 on that Monday. Wednesday at 7:10, fans will get a Marlins opening night canvas print courtesy of Pepsi. Go to marlins.com or call 1-877-MARLINS for tickets. That Thursday game is a 12:40 start. Totally got clipped by that foul tip. And Thursday's game is not on television.
You know, guys, down here, well, not down here, but out here in the Cleveland department, you really get a good idea how big this ballpark is. I mean, I'm out here looking around, and it's really big. I mean, it's really, you know, you played in some ballparks as in Philadelphia, where, you know, if you out here in the outfield area and from a bleacher standpoint, it doesn't seem that big. But out here in the Clevelander, behind this fence, it looks far.
You know what Cliff's doing right now? He's looking over towards center field and want to know where Preston wants him to play. Want him to move over or go toward the line a little bit.
Yeah, you know, Preston was big on that. As I'm getting harassed by the Met fans out here, you know, and the Marlin fans. But Preston was big on placement. That was his one big thing. He always would be moving me around, and you know, that actually, you know, it worked. You know, and you have to have communication in the outfield, especially in a big ballpark like Marlins Park. It's
great to have you two together this year on the telecast and in the pregame shows. I know you guys spent a lot of time together. And especially now that football season is about to start, when do you fire up the man cave? When's the first big Sunday? Next Sunday?
Next Sunday, it is fired up. I mean, it is ready to go. You know, I actually have a couple TVs been put in, you know, so now I have a total of 5. We can watch 5 games at once and get it going. Full bar. Actually, we have a TV outside now. I added a TV outside by the pool, so you don't have to always stay inside and watch a you know, NFL game.
That's a nice feature. That's a nice feature.
You know? So I'm just trying to up the game a little bit as I retire.
And you were kind enough to offer that up as part of the fantasy auction.
No doubt.
And that'll be I'm interested to see how that goes and get reports on the big party. Swing and a miss. Manny Acosta said, hey, no problem, I'll come in and strike everybody out. And he did that. 2-1. Marlins on top of the Mets. For the Mets, the Coors Light Cold Hard Facts, which is brought to you, of course, by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Road batting average, the Mets at 260. The Giants have done quite well at 271. And San Francisco continues to lead the National League West. The Giants, with a win today, a 5-2 win over the Cubs, now have a 5-game lead over the Dodgers, who are just getting ready to face the Diamondbacks. And Josh Beckett is about to throw the first pitch of the game. He gets the start for the Dodgers.
I wonder if you can read anything into that road batting average number. The fact that San Francisco is a tough place to hit. So the home games, you're playing a lot of times the weather's not great, and it's a pitcher-friendly ballpark. And even though they've moved the fences in at Citi Field, it hasn't made that much of a difference. And so you wonder if that factors into it at all.
So you're saying that psychologically,
yeah.
Cliff, you buy any of that?
You know what? I mean, I will buy into that a little bit, but you know, as far as how far I buy into it, I play the game. All the other stuff, I left for Tommy and you, Rich, with the suits on.
Now wait a minute.
I'm just saying.
What are you wearing?
Well, I'm wearing a suit now, but you can't see me as much as we see you guys.
But here's my other theory: the Marlins swung the bats great in Denver, where everybody does, and in Arizona, a great park to hit in. They had home runs there, lots of home runs, and most of them would. Excuse me, Cliff. most of them would have been home runs in this ballpark as well, but it kind of changes when they come home. I know we're interrupting Cliff right now.
He's a little distracted.
Yeah, I'm getting messed up behind. I'm listening. They are tearing me up back here, but it's all good. I am listening, though.
I would be distracted, too. Here's Justin Turner now. And the Mets. Ronnie Cedeno pinch running.
One thing, Rich, the Mets have done, they've already made a couple of moves as far as September call-ups. So Terry Collins with a few extra guys on his bench. Mike Nickias, catcher back up, Zach Lutz.
And I think that's always good when you talk about call-ups and sort of, showcasing what you have, because when you look at the holes, not only that the Mets have, but across baseball and even the Marlins, you want to showcase what you have so you can leave a good taste in these guys, minds when they go into the offseason and start talking about, the improvements of the team. I think it's always big. I guess fortunately I didn't have to go through that, but when you actually in that role, it makes you have something to look forward to when you play in September.
The 1-0 pitch, runner on the move, and the ball takes Solano right to the bag, and he gets the double play.
That's the break they needed.
Boy, that's a nice break. With the hit and run on, Solano's moving over to cover second base. There goes Cedeno. It couldn't have been more perfect. And Solano was right there. All he had to do was catch it. As he catches it, he's standing on the bag. And then the relay throw over to first.
So there are 2 outs, and here comes Ruben Tejada.
And that's great for JJ, too, because that keeps that pitch count down.
Tommy, I was just about to say that. From what he's been going through the last 4 starts, not getting a ton of run support tonight with the 2 runs, that is awesome for him. And, just staying out there through this inning and maybe even go out there in the ninth.
Ruben Tejada, that's a foul ball.
You notice Dobbs right on the line, protecting from extra bases. So he just had to lean and fall over, and he was in foul territory.
I hate no doubles. I don't know. I just you always have to play by those type of rules, and it makes sense to do. I just hate when guys get hits when they shouldn't.
To right, and Stanton is there, and he makes the catch, and Josh Johnson has 8 innings in the books and a 2-1 lead over the Mets. Lead. He's given up just 3 hits. and he's done. That's the universal sign for great night, and go ice your arm.
Yeah.
Marlins Live, presented by Checkers, is coming up.
It had us looking back, Rich, to his last complete game, which was April 26th, 2010, against the San Diego Padres.
Kelly Shopik is in the ball game behind the plate. Ramon Ramirez on the mound. And here is Ruggiano with Reyes and Lee. That revelry you hear in the background is where Cliff Floyd is out in the Clevelander.
Yes, it is.
Though you've kept a respectable distance from the party.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually having a great time, standing out here listening to all the fans. A little bit different when I was in first base and down the right field line. These fans really get it in. I was asking them how much have they watched the game. Well, when they're sitting here in the seats, they're watching it a little bit more than the guys behind the seats that don't get a chance to see it only on TV. So, it's been a good couple innings down for me.
Ruggiano takes down low. Now, as a player, Cliff, you probably didn't get a chance to walk around or watch games at all from any ballpark. How many Major League games have you seen from ballparks that are in baseball right now? Have you been to parks just to watch games?
I've been to a couple. I haven't been to as many as I would like. I've been to one in D.C., been to one in Atlanta, but for the most part, I've been down here doing a lot of the Marlins games, and actually I really like it. But I will like to get out as my son gets a little bit older and get out and showcase where Dad has played, because he definitely still does not believe Dad played baseball.
Ruggiano pops it up, and it's out of play.
Keep him away from the Clevelander, though, Cliff.
Well, you know what, fellas? I mean, as we speak, it is some perks to wearing a suit with an earpiece in as I get a drink from the young lady down here in the Clevelander. When you get the perks, I'm guaranteeing you guys didn't get this drink when you was down here. But like I said, when you're an ex-player and you're at home, you get these type of perks.
You know what? I beg to differ, Cliff, because we did get the drinks.
Actually, Cliff, we got two. We got two of them.
Oh man, this is nice. Nice service down here.
Ruggiano battling. Ramirez, the third pitcher to work for the Mets. Ruggiano, left center field. Torres and Duda. And it's Duda who makes the catch on the track about 15 feet from Cliff Floyd and his fruity liquor drink.
Yeah, I thought I had one right there. No cigar.
Did you get a good jump on that one?
I got a good jump on that one. I had it all the way. I was hoping Duda tripped a little bit, and it could have been maybe set us up for an insurance run right here.
Now, you played in just about every Major League park there is, especially parks with retractable roofs, with domes.
Yep.
Having tracked that ball from left center, how does the roof of Marlins Park compare to others around the leagues that you've played in?
Well, it compares to the stadium in Houston. That's the only one I would compare it to. I won't compare it to the stadium in Arizona, as they have a retractable. But the one in Houston has the same type of roof, and it takes some adjusting, in terms of fly balls. If you haven't been here and played the outfield, you definitely have to get here during BP and get out there and get some fly balls from your outfield instructor just to get an idea of how that ball plays with the beams. And I think that plays comes into play in certain situations, especially when you have to take your eye off the ball, as Duda did for 1 second, to get to the spot.
2-1 to Reyes is down low. Reyes singled and scored. Right now is the deciding run in the 6th. He came in on the little ground ball single off the bat of Giancarlo Stanton.
When I was out here in big outfields like this, guys, I didn't care for him too much. I just felt that as Reyes walks right there, I felt like it was so much ground to cover that you didn't know if you wanted to play straight up. You didn't know if you wanted to shade guys a little bit, play in. This is where it comes into play from an outfielder standpoint of being in good position. make sure you get the scouting reports before the game so you know where you are, because you can turn base hits into doubles and doubles into triples in these type of ballparks.
And those type of parks would be a Coors Field or Arizona?
Yeah, definitely Coors Field. Arizona, you know, not as bad as this one or Coors Field, but you definitely can put yourself in a bad situation in that park, you know, with the sort of, you know, the corners they have. But Colorado, definitely. That was the park that I had to get adjusted to, and it was tough at first.
And your range would be quite limited if you were standing out there with a drink in your hand like you are right now.
Believe it.
Reyes back with a dive. Davis with a swipe tag. Carlos Lee has a couple of hits in this ball game. Remember, we told you Reyes didn't run a whole lot in the month of August. He's running now. The pitch is taken for a strike. Shopik's throw, not in time. Reyes is in there. And there's number 400 for Jose Reyes. His 400th stolen base.
So 400 out of 500. 80%. Pretty good.
I'll
Jose
take it all
Reyes.
day. He actually stole that bag off of Ramirez because Shopik made an actually good throw. He released quick, got it to second base on the hop, which is what you have to do against guys like Reyes because they're so fast. But he stole that off of Ramirez.
You know, watching that in Fox mode, that was a lot closer than you thought.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you're looking at it from out here, it was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. But Shopik, like I said, got rid of that ball so fast. And it had you know, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He wasn't going to get there in the air. He bounced it so he could get that little skip off the grass, and almost worked in his favor.
Well, Reyes would love to get to third base now with one out and give Lee a chance to score him on a fly ball.
Maybe that's what Daniel Murphy just went and told him, like, hey, you got to be careful here. You know, insurance run definitely, you know, hurts them going into the ninth inning.
Lee 2 for 3 tonight. That went off the end of the bat. Torres comes in. It's going to fall. It's a base hit. And El Caballo has done it again.
Unbelievable. Can't teach it, fellas. You just cannot teach that type of hit.
You know, sometime it isn't the prettiest. I mean, off the end of the bat, he got that other little base hit that was probably 4 inches off the plate. But he knows how to make contact. Outstanding base running tonight, all night, by Jose Reyes. He knew where the outfielders were. He knew that this ball was going to drop for a base hit. If you hesitate and think it's going to be caught, you don't score.
And that's great base running by Jose. He went halfway, you know, did what he's been taught his whole career, and then he just took off. And you're not going to throw him out, even if you come up with that ball at home plate.
Now Giancarlo Stanton, and Stanton has not had the best of nights at the plate. I know he has an RBI single, but that was a mighty swing that hit off the end of the bat and trickled down the first baseline. He has struck out his other 2 times, and he has swung and missed at 2 offerings from Ramirez here, and it's 0-2.
His type of swings are basically, you know, he's when you're missing the fastball as he's missed tonight, now you start thinking about it, and that's why you see those sliders. You know, he's fishing for those also.
Pulls a ground ball to short. Tejada. Murphy's turn is in time, but Miami gets a big insurance run and takes a 3-1 lead into the ninth. Carlos Lee extending the lead. You can pick up a 4 for $54 pack, which includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, 4 bags of chips for just $54. And the next 4 for $54 night is Tuesday night. The Brewers are here, 7:10. Individual and group packages are available online at marlins.com. Steve Cishek coming in for the save. And since earning the closer's job, Cishek has been outstanding.
Trying to nail down save number 12 on the season. And I guarantee that extra run gives you a little boost when you go out there to try to pick up that save. So a big run for the Marlins in the 8th inning.
He gets Daniel Murphy, David Wright, Ike Davis. Cishek ready to go. Marlins trying to even this series against the Mets and get win number 60 on the season. This is game number 133. A strike and it's 0-1. Murphy 1 for 7 in the series. He's usually good for 3 or 4 hits a series against Miami. And it's 0-2.
When Cishek has come in and really been on the top of his game, it's the one thing he's done really well. He's gotten ahead.
I've always felt that was key for closers coming in and throwing first pitch strike. You put that down the hitter's head that, you know what, I'm gonna be tough on you tonight. It's always just always mess with your, your mental approach, especially from a hitter standpoint. I used to want to, sort of take a pitch as he did right there, but you just never know what these guys are gonna come in and do. That's why you like to take pitches. But they come in and throw that first pitch strike. Now you're in a hole, and with Cishek's stuff, it's gonna be tough to get out.
Cliff and Tommy, I know for an organization right now like the Marlins, who are in the basement of the East, we've talked about trying to figure out who fits where for next year. Sometimes it's hard to project what a player will be like in a pressure situation, playing for a pennant, playing for a postseason spot. If there's one spot, though, where I think you're close to being able to measure it, it's as the closer. Because Cishek still comes in with an awful lot of pressure on his shoulders when he's trying to nail down a win.
Yeah, I think we've seen that. Number one, a little pressure on him because of the way he inherited the role. And number two, the way he's continued to show that he could deal with the pressure.
2-2 pitch pulled on the ground, and it's by Carlos Lee and Donovan Solano. Got right between them. Murphy has a hit, and the Mets have some life here in the 9th inning.
Hey, fellas, we talked about coming down to the Cleveland and getting an opportunity to hang out. Every time I've been down through the Clevelander, guess who I've run into? Ray. Jeff Conine.
Ray, right up there. He's always here.
Yeah, no, you're always here too, bud.
No. I'm just passing through.
Oh, is that what it is?
You're parked here tonight. You're parked. You got the good gig tonight.
Hey, Cliff, order one of those drinks for Niner.
Well, you know what? He's about to kick mine over right here as we speak. Hey, you got to watch that.
Hey,
that was delivered.
I don't like the way you looked at me right there. You were like, get mad.
Yeah, he's about to climb the stairway to heaven and get up to his spot up there in center field.
He has a unique way of getting to his spot up there in left center,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of other ways to get to it, but he finds this way just to make things happen.
What were you taught in school? The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line.
Oh, there it is.
That's my straight line.
Straight line. There it is. That's why I love him. That's why, I was his locker mate, and he taught me everything I know.
Heath Bell, Mike Dunn in the bullpen. Right now, Steve Cishek facing David Wright, and behind in the count, 2-0. And, of course, Wright represents the tying run here in the 9th. Murphy's at first. Ground ball, base hit, left field. Peterson picks it up, and now things get interesting. Now you've got some really powerful left-handed bats coming up, starting with this man, Ike Davis, our Cholula Hot Sauce spotlight player. Born in Edina, Minnesota. His father pitched for the Yankees. Mets first-round pick out of Arizona State in 2009.
Dad was pitching for the Twins, I believe. That's why he was born in Minnesota.
Well, you don't have to worry about one thing. He's not going to beat out double play ball. And Cishek does have stuff to where Ike Davis can roll over and gives that double play as we need, much needed right now.
Now, left-handed bat, Cliff. Cishek does have that sidearm submarine delivery. Davis is squaring to bunt.
Wow. Wow. And there it is.
And he went after it on the appeal. Scott Berry says that's a strike. Let's take a look.
Boy, this is a gift right here. If he continues to bunt.
Well, I was hoping he actually, I didn't think you would have to worry about that situation. Maybe we have to worry about it.
He has never had a sacrifice bunt in his career. It didn't look like he pulled back in time, having watched that replay.
Well, if you want anybody bunting in this situation, it's Ike Davis. He is definitely a guy who can pop this thing up.
And it's 0-2.
Let's see, no sack bunts in his career. He's not going to be bunting now 0-2, and I guarantee he didn't have any sack bunts at Arizona State either.
Guys, I'm just standing down here wondering if that. You think that came from Terry Collins? I mean, maybe he missed the sign from Tim Tuffle at third base.
Exactly. I was thinking that as well. Here's the 0-2. Because I'm sure he knows the bunt sign, because when he's on base, he needs to be alert, but he probably never has had the bunt sign when he's at the plate.
And not often are you going to play to tie a game when you're on the road.
Rich, you know what? Back to that bunt sign, I'm almost going to guarantee he doesn't know it.
There's a good chance of that.
Because I know I never knew it in all of my years.
0-2 pitch. Fastball struck him out. Davis strikes out. You can see he's upset.
You know what? He's upset, and it all goes back to that first pitch,
yes.
The pitch that he tried to bunt, which maybe he did it on his own, maybe he missed the sign, but there was a mess up there, and that ruined his whole at bat.
Well, it throws you off completely from a hitter's standpoint. You go out there with one thing on your mind. You got first and second. You want to at least get that guy to third base and stay out of double play, and maybe even get a hit. I mean, he's been swinging the bat well of late. It just totally threw him off with that bunt attempt on that first pitch. You're totally out of your own norm of what you go up there and normally do.
Now Lucas Duda, he can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Cishek's delivery, Cliff, from a left-handed hitter's perspective, the sidearm stuff mixed in with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
You normally like it, Rich. I'm telling you, Cishek is the arm you want to see from a left-handed hitter standpoint, and his stuff is just that good, and that's what makes him different and unique, is that he can throw pitches and get swing and misses, where normally when you throw on that pitch from a sidearm delivery, it's getting hit from the left side more so than the two righties that's gotten hit, to start the inning. Well, actually, Daniel Murphy did get the hit before David Wright got hit. So, you normally see right-handed sidearmers getting hit by lefties more so.
1 ball, 1 strike to Lucas Duda.
A little trouble getting that breaking ball over right now, Cishek. He's gotten his fastball over, had a little trouble command with the breaking pitch.
And that's the one thing you can have, especially coming from him, is that slider or breaking pitch getting over for a strike, because if the hitter can step there and look for one pitch from Cishek, he's doing him a huge favor.
Another left-handed bat, Mike Baxter on deck. 2-1 pitch coming from Cishek. Up the middle into center field. That's a base hit. Charging is Ruggiano. Wright is on his way to third, and he gets there. At the corners, it's a 1-run game. Lucas Duda delivers.
And there it is, Rich and Hut, that you talk about that, that sidearm delivery when you're not getting your breaking pitch over for a strike. You have to come back to pitches that, you necessarily don't want to throw in certain situations, and the hitters are sitting all over.
A couple of things right there was good hitting by Lucas Duda, but Cishek did get the ground ball. And we talked about Jose Reyes and his base running. Great job by David Wright going from first to third on that base hit, too.
Yeah, that's definitely great running by David Wright, knowing he has to get to third base so you can score without getting a hit in this situation.
Mike Baxter is the hitter. He's doubled in 3 trips. You still have a shot at a double play to win the game with Duda, the runner, at first base. Wright is at third. Baxter's had the big week with a couple of home runs. He fouls that one back and out of play.
Back to guys, what you was talking about with Cishek and this closer role. These opportunities is what stand out to a manager. Situations where you're facing tough hitters. These are things that are going to stand out next year. Can he handle these roles? I think he definitely can. He's been thrown into a role that he had to, sort of adjust to, and I think he's done a phenomenal job.
Popped up. Let's see if it's playable. Reyes racing over. Runner tags. Reyes makes the catch. Wow. And everybody holds.
Wow. I'll tell
Great
you
play
one
by
thing.
Jose.
David Wright knows the quick release and strong arm of Jose Reyes. There are a lot of shortstops, if they make that catch, the guy at third tags up and goes to the plate.
Easily.
David Wright knows him way too well. That's a great play. There's that flat-footed snap throw right back to third base. Great job by Reyes. He has had a really nice game. We've talked about his base running and the things that he's done tonight.
Now it's Torres. And Cishek misses out. So Andres Torres, who is 0 for 3. The Mets are down to their last out. The tying run's at third. That's David Wright. The go-ahead is over at first. Lucas Duda. Torres pops it up. Third base side. Dobbs to the rail, and it's just over the dugout. And they count 1 ball and 1 strike.
I was just thinking, I get this view, which is outstanding. This is awesome. I'm looking at Peterson out here in left field. I would like for him to be a little bit more towards the line, especially with Cishek and the ball that goes around the dish, and he's just trying to smack that ball, over to the left side and get that run in.
Here's the 1-1. And it's up and in. A 3-2 ball game. Mets have rallied for a run here in the 9th on 3 hits. Cishek has 2 outs, but he needs 1 more. There's a breaking ball for a strike, and that's a good sign.
Yeah, that is, because all of a sudden that plants the seed in Torres' head. Hey, you can get that pitch over too.
All of a sudden the fans are in it down here.
2-2. And it's fouled back to the screen. Terry Collins and the Mets winners last night on an R.A. Dickey shutout. Cishek trying to save it for Josh Johnson tonight. Tying run 90 feet away. 2 outs of the 9th. 2-2. Wow.
That looked good from out here. I don't know about up top.
Yeah, it look good from up here. We'll get a chance maybe on Fox Tracks to get a better idea. That's a strike. At number one, it's a strike. Number two, how can you take that pitch?
Duda will be on the move. The 3-2 coming. And it's in. The bags are loaded. And here comes Kelly Shopik.
Well, one thing Ozzie knows, there are no more left-handers on the bench in the lineup except all the guys that Cishek has faced. So no more lefties. So he gets that good righty-righty matchup.
Ozzie Guillen not real happy. He had a few words with Jerry Meals, and now he goes to the gum. Kelly Shopik, who was acquired in the middle of August. Spent the season in that soap opera in Boston.
He's done a good job so far in his few games as a Met.
Five hits his last 13 ABs. And he swings and fouls that one off with Buck. 0-1. David Wright, who singled after Murphy singled. Lucas Duda's single drove Wright to third. It drove Murphy in. And Torres walked with 2 outs.
Cishek closing in on 30 pitches this inning.
Breaking ball into center field. That's a base hit. Wright will score. Here comes Duda. It gets by Ruggiano. And it rolls into deep center field. 3 runs are going to score. Shopik ends up at third base. A disastrous turn for Miami.
Wow. Great swing by Shopik. He took it right back up the middle. And then with Ruggiano charging, thinking about coming up and making a throw to the plate, the ball gets by him. He'll be charged with an error. And the bases are cleared by Shopik.
And Steve Cishek has blown a save. Ozzie Guillen's going to go to the bullpen. Scott Hairston has been announced as the pinch hitter. And the Mets are on top. ever since he took over as the closer.
You know, if he's going to learn, he's going to have an occasional game this way. He had it tonight, without question. And the guy who certainly can relate to it is the guy who's come in to try to finish things off here in this ninth inning, Heath Bell.
Shopik's going to get 2 RBIs on that base hit, and the third run scores on the Ruggiano error.
When you think about that close pitch, the pitch that appeared to be in the strike zone to Andres Torres, it was strike 3, would have been strike 3. It was not called a strike, and then Cishek lost Torres with the next pitch and walked him.
Here is Hairston now, and Bell gets a strike on the inside corner. It's 0-1.
The Mets, Rich, got 3 hits off Josh Johnson through 8 innings. They got 4 hits off Steve Cishek.
Cishek is credited for just 2/3 of an inning. Mets closer Frank Francisco, who was up last night, but obviously never came into the ball game, with R.A. Dickey completing the game and throwing a 5-hit shutout. Terry Collins had him ready. Bell, a former Met. In with the fastball. Shopik the runner at third. Check swing. Two and two. The teeth of the Marlins order had just come up in the 8th. Remember, Stanton bounced into a double play to finish the inning. Dobbs, Solano, and Buck are scheduled in the 9th. And Bell throws a fastball by Hairston. Let the Mets do some damage, some major damage. 4 runs for New York. And the top of the 9th is 5-3 Mets. Florida is brought to you by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Checkers, feast on. By Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. And by 5-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy fixes tired fast. You see the 4 runs in the 9th inning. It was a Josh Johnson game to win. Miami took a 3-1 lead into the ninth, but the Mets rally. Jason Bay stays in the ball game, and he's in left field.
And they turn it over to Frank Francisco, trying to pick up save number 23, 22 out of 25. Fastballs and a good splitter from Francisco. Boy, the air kind of came out of that balloon after that Chopik hit.
Air came out of this building. Greg Dobbs now. Dobbs is lined out, bounced out twice. Then you've got Solano. Then you've got Buck. Ozzie really hasn't dipped into his bench, so he's got some pinch hitting possibilities. Look at that. Dobbs just 3 at-bats, but 3 hits. One of them a home run.
It's one of those things, it's a small sample size, but as a hitter, you know, hey, I've had a little success off this guy.
Dobbs flips that one out towards center. Torres is over, and he makes the catch. Now Solano. He's flied out twice and has singled. Chris Young, Mark Burley, 110 start, 12:30 start for Marlins Live. Marlins looked like they were headed to evening the series after R.A. Dickey last night shut him out. They really didn't do a lot of damage against Jeremy Hefner. But with Josh Johnson pitching as well as he pitched tonight, they really didn't need to.
That's the unfortunate thing. If this game ends this way and the Mets win this game, the fact that J.J. pitched so well, gave up 3 hits in his 8 innings, just the 1 run, and he'll end up with a no decision.
Solano takes in, and the count 2-1. Pitcher spot 2 hitters away. And a strike from Francisco evens the count at 2-2. Marlins look to an Austin Kearns, a Rob Brantley. Too much time for Solano. Stays alive, fights off a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Kearns getting ready in the dugout.
Yeah, I think Ozzie would go with the more veteran hitter than Austin Kearns.
Francisco has saved 14 of his last 15 opportunities. Spent some time on the disabled list. Missed the entire month of July. 3-2. Another 3-2 coming. Another fastball, and Solano fights it off. For Terry Collins and the Mets, this would be win number 63 if they could nail it down. Last year the Mets were 77 and 85. They finished at 8 under. Torres. He covers a lot of ground, and there are 2 outs. Up comes John Buck. Austin Kearns is on deck. Frank Francisco is an out away from doing what Steve Cishek failed to do, and that's save the ball game. Buck goes after a breaking ball, and it's 0-1. Crowd of just over 26,000. Oh, and 2. You hear the Met fans in the house making some noise. Ball and 2 strikes. Marlins would love to get Kearns to the plate. Buck is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. And that's right down the middle. John Buck takes a called 3rd strike to end the ball game. And the Marlins, who were primed for what looked like an outstanding win, have to walk out of here with a very bitter loss, as the Mets score 4 times in the 9th and take this game by a score of 5-3. The big hit, the Warren Henry drive of the game. Kelly Shopik. It got by Ruggiano, and with the bags loaded, it scored 3. And that the Warren Henry drive of the game. And that the difference in the game. Shopik, a guy that didn't start the game, but he sure finished it in fine fashion. Mets win it 5-3. Marlins Live is coming up.